Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of the PowettPlay Podcast. I'm joined today, as always, by my co-host, Kieran Powell. How are you, Kai?
I'm good, Jordan. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. To be honest with you, there's no other place to start today with the game between Australia and Afghanistan, and arguably one of the greatest, World Cup innings, but also one-day international innings has just taken place. So what are your thoughts?
I think the only other limited overs innings, let me not say limited overs, the only other 50 over innings that I think can be compared to that is Viv Richards' 189, when Michael Holden sort of did a Pat Cummins and just held the other end.
Yeah.
Obviously, that is way before my vintage.
Yeah.
But in terms of just knowing cricket in history and stuff, there's nothing that comes to mind. I think it's single-handed. It's definitely the best innings I've ever seen in a one-day match, and I've seen some pretty special things. But just the position of the game, I think Maxwell came in at like sort of 46 for 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
It got to even dire straits at 90 for 7. So literally to do that on one leg and then no legs and like a failing body, 201. Jesus.
No, absolutely phenomenal. It was phenomenal to watch, and he just one of them. Even as he got to say 140, 160, I still didn't think they were. It was like one of them where it's like, what a great effort, but you still felt like he was going to be on the losing side. It was just unbelievable, and as he was struggling and he kept struggling, I was just like, this is just unbelievable.
Like you could sense that he had a sense for the moment as well, because obviously after he got dropped that second time, it's like he sort of just, seems to be my day.
Yeah.
And he just started hitting them, and he just started going at 10s and over, and then giving Pat Cummins the strike and literally not even backing up. Pat Cummins dropping into gaps and taking 2 hard steps, and Maxwell is not even looking at him. No. And then when I really sensed that, all right, he understands the situation, is when he got to 100. Yeah. If you check his celebration of his 100, it was like very muted, like in the zone, sort of, 100, that's fine. I've got a job to do here still. Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, like, surely he can't do this alone. Like, he's gonna have to get Pat Cummins involved somehow.
Somewhere along the line,
Pat Cummins is gonna have to get like at least 50 here. Yeah. Like, I mean, they still needed quite a lot. So he's gonna have to give him some strike and like trust him to, hit the odd boundary here or there and rotate the strike, but did it on his own. 201, I think, hands down to Maxwell, and couldn't be better timing. Obviously, had 100 or 40 balls early in the World Cup and IPL auction next month. Kudos to him.
No, I know, yeah, kudos. How much of an impact do you think that'll have on Australia now as a team going into the semi-final?
Jesus. I mean, personally, I think that they've played literally the right combination today for the first time. I don't think that you can have Smith and Labuschagne playing in the same team, given the nature of what's been happening in one-day cricket. You need one anchor, but I don't think you necessarily need two. So who they'll go for going forward is going to be interesting. But I mean, the confidence that 90 for 7. I mean, against let's be realistic here. Afghanistan is a proper cricketing nation. Like they're no minnows anymore. No. Their struggles have always been their batting, and their batting has definitely caught up. Yeah. Their bowling has never really been an issue. You look at the way their fast bowlers strung that ball tonight, reminiscent of what India's been doing throughout the tournament. And their spinners, you don't need to go into detail. I mean, their spinners are, world class. All 4, 3, 5 of them, whatever the number is. So, I think for the Australian dressing room, this is going to make them sort of be a team on steroids. What this can do for a team, knowing that you can get into those positions. And they won with like 3 point something overs to spare. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. In terms of from a Maxwell perspective, have you ever been in a situation, I wasn't not comparing it to the Maxwell, but have you ever been in that situation yourself where you've been that sort of focused that whatever's going on in the game situation, you sort of forget about it, and you're just in that zone, and you completely focus on what you've got to do. Or
I honestly can't say I have. And I don't know if a lot of that has to do with, I mean, obviously I'm an opener.
I get that.
In the middle order and what's not, but literally, honestly, I can't say that I have personally. That I mean, unfortunately enough, like once there's cricket on, sport in general. So I'm a lover of all sports. So I'm so sorry for Emma, but like I literally fall asleep. Like last night, we fell asleep with NFL on. I was watching the Jets against the Buffalo Bills, or some sort of NFL game. Once that sorts of finishes, like I roll over in my sleep and I switch to the NBA, and then I just like sort of nod off again, and then I just switch back in time. Like I always wake up at around 4:00 for the toss for these matches, because it's like really early in the Caribbean. The time these matches start, and so like I was fortunate enough to see pretty much the whole game, and just like what you said, like I thought, oh no, this is hell of an effort. Kudos to him. Like, he put up a fighting chance. Australia's net run rate won't be like hit too hard, etc., etc. But then he got to sort of 170. When he got to 170, like we were sort of just getting ready to leave the hotel, like not too long before practice. No one moved for the bus. Everyone was just standing there and just like, is he really going to do this? And today's a special day, very special. Not just for Glenn Maxwell, Australian cricket, but for cricket on a whole. Like, and that's what I don't get about people wanting one-day cricket to sort of not be played as much, because it's ultimately the purest form of cricket when you think of it, because you have the early stages where you get sort of on good pitches, sort of reserve play similar to test matches. Then the tempo builds up, and you get the T20 stuff at the end. So, I mean, these middling scores of like anywhere between 250, 290, once you can produce pitches that, get you those sorts of scores where there's something in it for spinners, seamers, and batters. What an amazing day for cricket this has been. Like, you surely can't ask for a better game of cricket than this. It's going to be hard-pressed to find one.
I totally agree. And like you were saying before, that arguably before people would sort of put the Australia versus Afghanistan as Australia versus a minnow, and like you're saying, it can't be taken like that. They're a serious side, and they've got, and I've noticed it over the duration of the tournament, that they've got a real togetherness. That's the way that they play. I think it's because of the volume of white ball stuff that they play, and also probably going into the mentality of people probably doubting them a little bit as well. I think they've really shown that, you can have all these high-profile names that Australia have and the Indians have, but at the end of the day, we've got 11 that are all going in that same direction with the same motivation to succeed and show people, we are a team to be reckoned with.
And I think they can still qualify for the semi-finals, even though they lost today, isn't it? I think they just technically, because 3 spots are sealed now, so it's between them and New Zealand, isn't it?
And Pakistan are still in the mix.
Right. No, I mean, what this must be doing for cricket in Afghanistan is absurd. Like, to think of, like, because they're producing so much talent, they're just churning it out. I'd like to see what like the youth levels of Afghanistan cricket is like. It must be amazing. It must be.
And then you've got England who were just fighting for that Champions Trophy spot. So nice to see that England are making the numbers up in this tournament.
Well, I don't think that England are going to qualify for the Champions Trophy. I think they've just got one more match, isn't it? So they're pretty much out. They're pretty much out.
Yes.
Even if they get up to 4 points, that won't give them a chance. Which, I mean, I honestly still don't think that England won't play in the Championship. I still think that something will happen that allows an England to have some sort of outside qualification chance or extra teams added to the Champions Trophy, whatever it is. But
I know we touched on it. Yeah, we touched on it in the last pod about that and the commercial value and that it brings. So who knows, obviously, but at the end of the day, the table doesn't lie. So wherever England finish will represent how they've come across in this World Cup and how they played. So if that means them missing out of in the Champions Trophy, then so be it, because that's what, unfortunately, that's what what we've deserved at the end of the day. We've just not played good cricket. We've not played smart cricket. We've just not put it together at the right times, and it is a real shame. But that's cricket at the end of the day, and we'll have to rebuild, and people will have to go and take some ownership for the performances and figure out, obviously, how we bounce back from it, because at the end of the day, we've got to. So
I'm not too sad about that, Jordan. If I'm going to say that myself, I'm actually just having a little bit of a chuckle with England performing the way they've performed, and hopefully they continue to perform that way for a bit longer, because their next tour is of the West Indies. So
that's what I mean. Hoping,
yeah.
Because the thing is, as well, with this tour to the West Indies, you boys have a massive point to prove. You'll be wanting to show straight away that, this missing the World Cup and all that sort of stuff. You'll be like, look, let's go and put, let's really go and hit home here against England. These are a fragile side. We can go and, give them a real test. So they've got no respite. And if England then go to the West Indies and get turned over there, there's a real situation to be in, to be honest with you. So I think, though, going back to the World Cup, I think that obviously every time we've discussed it, India has been the standout team. I don't think anything's changed from that. I think they've got the key players are ticking at the right time now and everything. So I do think that they're going to take some stopping. I thought Virat Kohli's knock the weekend was, again, just absolutely class, and the fact that took him to join Sachin Tendulkar's record, didn't it? So that speaks volumes in its own right.
Now let's jump into that for a bit, because 49 ODI centuries. I mean, Sachin took, I think, 430 something games or innings, I'm not sure which one, to get to that mark where Virat's taken 277, I think. So
yeah,
I mean, just the ability to churn out runs after runs up year after year. And this is in keeping with, like, he had like a bad spell of like 3-4 years not too long ago, like when everyone was saying Virat lost his mojo. We've seen the best of Virat. How much longer does he have? And he's got 500 and something runs in this World Cup. I think he's second leading run scorer or something like that.
I think it's behind Quinton de Kock, I think.
Right. So to see how he's turned it around, and he's literally just come at the man, like big stage, big performer, 49 ODI centuries. Could have had 2 more ready for the World Cup. Plus the 2 that he does have. So potentially could have already had 51. And I'm not putting it past him to, in a semi-final or a final, score the 50th century, break Sachin's record. And again, I mean, you look at it in terms of big moment, big player. It was his 35th birthday. Gave himself a tied world record on his 35th birthday. Like, what else can you ask of the man? So amazing player, amazing career. I always sort of knew what he could be a long time ago when I cast my eye back to the 2008 Under-19 World Cup when we played against India in Malaysia, and the day before we were batting in the nets, we couldn't touch our bowlers. Like, the ball was like, it wasn't even swinging, it was just boomeranging sideways. And the next day we play against India, and Virat comes out in a floppy, like he comes out in a cap.
Right.
And literally just takes us apart. Like, we were in the game until the 40th over. And he starts hitting it further and further and further, and got 100 and something in no time. And we were just like, that's different to any other under 19. What can we do about that?
Yeah.
And they went on to win the World Cup. So, I mean, we, as West Indians, especially guys that were in that team, like, we sort of knew from a long time ago, like, this guy could be very special if nurtured correctly. And India did an amazing job with him, and he's done, in turn, an amazing job for the nation.
Yeah, definitely. I think to be honest with you, looking at how it's going to go, there's something that could be written in the stars that he goes and breaks that record in, like you said, in the semi or the final, which would be a fitting way for him to sort of break that record, really. I want to ask you something here. So you touched on him having this little drought or this rough period, 4 or 5 years ago. How important do you think that is to him? Even though at the time he say 30, 31 to now he is at 35. How important would that be for that period? This current period of time now, where he sort of had that dip in form, a mature period, or what people would say at his peak. How much of an impact would that have had on him now, and giving that sort of mental resilience to really take him again to that next sort of phase of his career?
Well, I think it's invaluable because, someone like Virat, you think he's been through everything that there is to go through in cricket, and then he goes through something like that. So this may sound like the stupidest thing I ever said, but he's not going to take anything for granted. And this is a man with 13,000 ODI runs and how much ever thousands of international runs, but he's literally grinding out every single opportunity now because he knows that he had a bad spell, which for most people, his career, if you parked the bus then, his career was an all-time great career anyway. And for him to sort of, in my opinion, just have the mindset of, okay, I'm going to make up for all the lost time. It's a scary place to be for bowlers because you've got Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma opening the batting. And you're talking about Shubman Gill averaging 60-odd, 70-odd in one-day cricket, just burst onto the scene.
Yeah.
And Rohit Sharma, a man with 3 double centuries in one-day international cricket, he can literally end your career, much less a game, on his own, as a goal. And you've got Virat Kohli following that. It's colossal. And they've managed to stitch together unbelievable partnerships. But what Virat has done on his own, batting first, chasing, at home, away from home, literally, he's just a machine. And the way he lives his life as well, you can see on his socials as well, his dedication to his fitness, his dedication to his diet. He doesn't cheat himself, he doesn't cheat the game, and so he gets everything back tenfold. And you have to appreciate it because for as fans, even as players, as opponents, we sort of take these players for granted, thinking that it's just going to carry on forever. But everyone has an end date, and I'm pretty sure we're not going to see another Virat Kohli. We will see somebody else that does special things, but we have to take these things in and appreciate what we're seeing now because he will be truly missed whenever he does stop playing cricket.
Yeah, I think that with Kohli, he, as a batter, he's got everything about him. But one thing that I'd like to add about Kohli is he's a real character and he's a real personality of the game. His passion, his desire, it's been questioned over, a few incidents that he's had here and there, but I think ultimately he just has that sheer desire of will to win.
Yeah.
When you align that with someone's ability that he has, it's the fact that he's achieved everything he has it's been fantastic. And the fact that I'm just so amazed that you're coming across him when he was 18, 19 in that World Cup. The fact that you've seen him at that age and then to see where he's gone to now is, it's a really good, really interesting story, that, to be honest.
It's actually crazy because, if I think of the guys that have come out of that Under-19 World Cup, you're talking about not just Virat, you've got Kane Williamson, you've got Steve Smith.
Stokes played in that one, didn't he?
I think he did. I'm not sure, but I think Joe Root played as well.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 4 of the best batters that have ever played in this game of cricket. And so many other players as well that have gone on to do amazing stuff in the game internationally and that are still doing it at this moment. So, we saw lots of special players from that age coming forward.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see as well that at 18 and the distractions that you have in life at that age.
Yeah.
And we're talking before about sports and NFL and NBA. that period of time in your life at 18, 19, you've got all these different distractions and stuff. And to then maintain it, but not only just maintain it, then to go through the roof performance-wise, it's a real credit to each individual who does that at 18. Because sometimes in their life, they may think they reached the top of the mountain. They're representing the country at 19 in a World Cup. And it's like, yeah, well done. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I've done it. You go, back to your mates and you're this local hero as such. And these names you mentioned, it's like, that's it. It's the start of it. We haven't, we've not reached anything yet. We go again and we practice and we work hard and we graft. And that's why they've achieved everything they've achieved, because when they did play in that World Cup in the 19s, it was, it was just the start of a massive chapter. So, there was a bit of an incident yesterday in the World Cup, with Angelo Mathews. What was your take on that?
Well, I have to say I'm obviously very biased. Speaking from the standpoint of being married to a Sri Lankan who was absolutely fuming when it happened.
I can imagine.
No, but I think it was absolute nonsense. What happened yesterday when, someone's helmet strap broke and you're going to give him out, timed out, which is the first thing that's ever happened in the history of international cricket.
Yeah.
Now, the laws of the game are there as guidelines, but they can't be just hard, staunch rules that, you literally it's black or white. There's always a gray area. There's always some sort of room for leeway. And I think definitely the ICC have to sort of look at those rules, because you're talking about, we're living in a day and time now where there's lots of stuff around concussions and player safety, player health, etc. So if Angelo Mathews just decides, screw it, I'm gonna face up, he gets hit, the helmet comes off, there's a whole nother issue that could have be born from that situation. So the ICC definitely need to sort of have a look at what happened there, because that should never be allowed to happen. It's not as if he was just standing there messing about, intentionally not taking strike. And apparently he still sort of had 5 seconds left, based on the time that he went out, and the time when his strap broke, to sort of take on guard. Well, not take guard, because I think he took guard, to face up and face his first delivery. Right. So, there definitely needed to be some leeway. The Bangladeshis did what they thought was in their best interests. They thought that best served them. As we saw, the rules of the game and the officials of the game allowed it to happen. So they got away with it, but I definitely think it was absolute nonsense.
I was just a bit disappointed from Shakib Al Hasan. I just wouldn't have. I would have done everything if I was the captain of the Bangladeshi side, to do everything in my power just to make sure that there was not an incident. It doesn't need to be like that. Like you said, the player safety aspect to it. His helmet's broken. He's not there taking. He's not trying to use it to his advantage in any way, or it's just a situation. His helmet's broken. Replace it. Let's go and play the game of cricket. And there's obviously more talk of the spirit of the game stuff, and obviously everything that happened in the summer with Bairstow and things. But I just think that sometimes it's just a case of, common sense. Let's just come in here. Let's go and play the game of cricket that we all love, and the winner will be the winner. The best team will win. We don't need to bring in any of these issues of timing out. It's just a shame, really. I think it's overshadowed it, and that's why I'm really glad that today happened with Maxwell, because it's completely overshadowed what happened yesterday. Someone's high quality, top performance is being talked about now by obviously me and you on here and all over the news. That is what we want to see cricket being represented. The importance of somebody, a skill set like that, has gone and done what they've done, and it's overshadowed what happened yesterday. I think it's really important.
I think it's important what happened today, but I don't think that it should overshadow yesterday, because I think things like yesterday sort of highlight, the frailties or the lack of flexibility in cricket. We need to sort of iron those things out so that we can allow for days like today to happen more often. Because you think of it, we don't know. I mean, Angelo Mathews could have gotten out first ball yesterday anyway.
Yeah.
But he could have played, obviously not what Maxwell did, given the amount of time that he would have had to bat, but he could have played an innings that would have completely revolutionized Sri Lanka's performance as well. We can only sit here and say, as cricket lovers and cricket fans, being completely impartial at the moment, we were robbed. We were robbed of an opportunity to see back-to-back days of great individual performances as opposed to just Maxwell. And I think that this World Cup has been an amazing World Cup, like the performances that we've seen across the board. You look at things like Scotland, etc. I'm sorry, not Scotland, the Netherlands, and the way that they've performed, potentially having clinched Champions Trophy berth already. And you look at things like that and the way that cricket is growing, and like, as I said, you think about it, you've got like the West Indies, Ireland, Zimbabwe. These teams are not even at the World Cup. These are teams that, as we've seen in this World Cup, like, they're teams that can beat anybody on any given day. So the way that cricket is going and growing, again, with the likes of Saudi trying to buy a stake in the IPL, we need to iron out these little frailties in the game, because us as cricket lovers understand these things about the game. The game is growing at such a pace where we're going into the Olympics, the game is going into new markets. We need to not make it a turn-off for people in new markets that don't necessarily understand the finer intricacies of the sport, and just see someone walk out and walk back off without having faced the ball.
How do you explain that to somebody?
How do you explain that? His helmet broke, so he got out? What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what? It's a very, very, very fair point you just made there. It really is. Like you said, with these new markets and people looking at investing in cricket and the direction in which it's going in, how would they explain that to somebody in a business meeting to say, well, okay, talk us through what's just happened there? Oh, well, no, it's a very, very fair point. Like I said, these do need ironing out for cricket as a sport to go to that, next level that we all really badly want it to go to. So obviously you've just been training today. How's that going, and how's the preparation going for the semi-final?
The weather has been absolutely atrocious. It's been pouring down pretty much all tournament, but I think we've actually been one of the lucky teams where we haven't really had too much interruption from rain, but our practice sessions have been severely impacted. Fortunately enough, we were able to use the indoor facility this afternoon and still get some stuff done. It's still raining at the moment, but no, all the guys are geared up and ready for the semi-final. Like, we came here with one goal in mind. We all aligned on what we needed to do, what sacrifices we needed to make as individuals for the betterment of the team. And you can see that in the way that the Leeward Islands have played. I've constantly said that I think that as a team in this tournament, I think that we have the best bowling unit. We have so many different options, and so if our batting can put good enough scores on the board, I think we'd be impossible to beat, and that's pretty much been proven to be the case more times than not. So we're really excited about where we are. Another solid day of preparation tomorrow, and looking forward to our semi-finals on Thursday.
So have you managed to how does it work with obviously all the teams being there? Do you have to share the facility? Does it have to have a set times to practice and one team to practice after you, or how does it sort of work?
So they had multiple practice facilities, obviously with 8 teams being here, but the teams that have been knocked out have already left. Those guys have gone back home, so it's a lot easier now to sort of split 2 venues amongst 4 teams. It's literally just a morning slot and an afternoon slot for the board. And then obviously tomorrow with the semi-final, the first semi-final taking place, it's even easier because it's just two teams that are going to be practicing tomorrow, us and Barbados.
Yeah.
Just a morning slot and an afternoon slot. So
yeah,
a lot better now. Guys have a lot more time to sort of prepare. There's no rush in terms of you've sort of got to stick to a 2-hour window because another team is coming in.
Yeah.
You can sort of extend your hit once the weather permits and use indoor, outdoor and get what you need. So
yeah. And how's the weather looking for Thursday? Is the forecast looking like it could be okay?
Well, this is the rainy season, so you never really know in the Caribbean. I mean,
yeah.
Sometimes they say it's going to be a thunderstorm, and it's probably the hottest day on earth. So you sort of just have to play it as you see it on the day.
Do you have any reserve dates for the semi-final and the final?
I don't think so. So I think it's a matter of who placed above who. If it's a rain-off, unfortunately, and first place fourth, which is Trinidad and Guyana tomorrow, and then second place third. So yeah,
right. Oh, I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, your opening partner's flying as well. So, and how does that fit? How does that for you? You know, when obviously you and Justin have got a great partnership at the minute, and you know your partner's, in a rich vein of form. Does that sort of help you out a lot as well?
Well, it's part of a team decision conversation we had amongst senior management and players as well, obviously, because there was the whole thing around the point system, and obviously we wanted to ensure that we qualified first and foremost before we did anything else. So being the more senior opener of the two, I had to play on a more attacking role, and Justin would look to bat through the innings. So I mean, as you saw, I've had some pretty crazy stats in the tournament, which has sort of allowed everyone to sort of ease into the innings a lot more. And Justin has done an amazing job of then just carrying through the length of the innings and the lower order, just propping up and just contributions throughout. But obviously now being sort of knockout stage, it's points are out the table. It's win or go home.
Win or home,
sort of team plans may change again, depending on how we find it may give us our best chance to win. So it'd be interesting to see what we come up with.
So what happens now from a team perspective do you have you've obviously trained earlier today. Do you sort of have a bit of a strategy meeting or a tactic meeting to follow, or how does it sort of work?
Well, I mean, we have been playing pretty much on the same ground for a few games now, and we have played Barbados on that ground as well. And I mean, it's no secrets at this point. You know, the tournament's been going for 2.5 weeks. They've seen us play, we've seen them play. We've played against them. We know what their players are going to do. They know what our players are going to do. And it's just a matter of execution on the day, and that sort of determines who come out the winner. I mean, it's at this point, it's no secret. I mean, it's not as if everyone doesn't know who Shea Hope is. I mean, he does average 15 international cricket records. It's no secret there, but I mean, we still have to go and, I mean, execute our plans and obviously try and be patient and back our plans.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm really looking forward to it, and I think that, may the best team win, both on Thursday and obviously in the final and things. But it's been great to catch up with you as always. Really enjoyed the insight, from the World Cup side of things, and discussing briefly then obviously about the Super 50. So I'm sure we'll catch up next week, and hopefully you will be a Super 50 champion if all goes to plan.
Fingers crossed. It'll be the first time. So doing my utmost best to ensure that happens. I'm just really looking forward to the next 2 games, really. Yeah,
definitely. I just hope the weather looks after you, and you manage to get 100 overs worth of cricket and stuff. So we'll touch base next week, and there'll hopefully be a lot of things to discuss nonetheless.
Perfect. Cheers, Jordan. It's been good speaking with you again.
Perfect. Thank you very much, and hope you're all enjoying the podcast. So we'll speak to you all soon. Thank you.